All right, hey guys, this is lesson 6, volume of prisms and cylinders. So we are moving on from surface area to volume. And I think you're going to find that these formulas that you're going to learn today are a little bit more manageable. I think that once you understand what to do, you're going to say, oh, I like this better than surface area. So as a reminder, surface area was when we found the area of like the entire outside of an object. So imagine like painting something, we're figuring out how much paint we would need to put on that figure. Volume is different. Volume is how much space is taking up inside this 3D object. So imagine holding a glass, an empty glass, and then taking water and filling up that glass with water. The amount of water that goes inside, that's volume. So we're going to find the volume, how much space is inside the figures below. And today we're going to focus on prisms and we're going to focus on cylinders, which is a circular type of prism. All right, so we're going to do a few of these together, not all of them, so that this video isn't extremely long, but we are going to dive in. So before we dive in, I've already written down the formulas. So after I'm done talking, I'm going to give you guys a second to pause this video and write down these formulas. The first formula is for prisms. So you can go ahead and pause the video, write down this formula. And hopefully you wrote down the formula. It's V equals B times H. So the volume equals base times height. But the base stands for the area of the base. Remember, the base is going to be the non-rectangular shape. So in this first example here, the base would be the triangle. We're going to find the area of that. And then we're going to multiply times the height of the prism. Okay. So let me give you a little visual here. In example 1, this is the area. I just highlighted it. The triangle is the area of the base. So imagine taking the area of the base. Oops. And the way I picture volume is like, okay, I fill up the area of the base and then I multiply it by the height so that this entire shape fills up. So again, we find the area of the base. We multiply it times the height of the prism so that it fills up. That is for all prisms. When it comes to cylinders, let's pause the video, write down the formula. Hopefully you wrote down the formula. And it's still a prism. So it's still the area of the base times the height. But remember, the area of the base is a circle. And the area of a circle is pi r squared. So it's just pi r squared for the base times the height of the cylinder. So in the second example, imagine filling up that circle at the top. That's one of your bases. Filling it up and then multiplying it times the height. So we just take that base and we fill up the entire object by multiplying it by the height. So let's do these first two examples. Let's write down this. This is volume. It's a prism because there's two of the same non-rectangular shaped bases, and then in between those we have a bunch of rectangles. Remember, the height of the prism goes base to base. So the height of the prism is going to be 4. Volume is area of the base times the height. So there's two things I need to find. I need to find the area of the base, and then I need to find the height, which we already said is 4. The area of the base, this is a triangular base, so the formula is 1/2 base times height. Now this lowercase b stands for the length of the base of the triangle. There's a lot going on with this, but that's going to be 8. The h in this area formula is not the height of the prism, it's the height of the triangle. And unfortunately for us, this doesn't come out so nice. This is an isosceles triangular prism. So I do know that this length is 4. I know that this length is 10, and this is not a triple. So we are going to have to use Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to use h for height. Let's not, because that kind of sounds like hypotenuse. I'll use x for height. So we get x squared plus 4 squared equals 10 squared. So x squared plus 16 equals 100. I'm going to take out my calculator so that you can understand where this work is coming from. 100 minus 16 is 84. So I'm going to square root both sides. And 84, I know 4 goes into it 21 times. So when I square root this, the square root of 4 is 2 with a root 21. Now that's the height of the triangle. 2 root 21. So when I actually calculate this, I get 1/2 of 8, and you can even use your calculator, guys. 0.5 times 8 times, I would just do the 2. So that's 8 with a root 21. Now that's the area of the base. So when I go to do the volume, I have to plug in the area of the base, which I just found was 8 root 21. And then the height of the prism was 4. So when you have a root involved, just multiply the numbers that don't have roots. So that's 32 root 21. And now we're talking about volume. So we're actually talking about 3-dimensional once we get into volume. So this is actually inches cubed. Cubic inches is talking about volume. All right, let's move on to number 2. So this is a cylinder. So it still is the area of the base times the height. But remember that the area of the base is pi r squared. So we actually already know the radius. They gave it to us. It's 4. And we know the height of the prism, which is base to base, circle to circle, is 11. So I actually have everything I need to find this answer. Pi times the radius squared, so that's 4 squared, times 11. So that's pi times 16 times 11. When you're working with pi, just multiply the numbers that don't have the pi. So 16 times 11 is 176, and then just stick on the pi. That's it. Now I forgot to say meters cubed, but that is what it is, meters cubed. When we're talking about area, it's always square meters, square inches, square feet. This one, it's cubic. Cubic meters, cubic inches, cubic feet. Moving on to number 3, our lovely hexagon. It is a regular hexagon, as all hexagons in this unit are. So again, the volume is the area of the base times the height. To find the area of the base, we've got to do 6 times s squared root 3 over 4. The side of the hexagons are 8. So it's 6 parentheses, 8 squared root 3 over 4. So we're going to do this part, the 8 squared and the divided by 4. Okay, so 8 squared, not 16, it's 64 root 3 over 4. And just to show you guys, we're going to do 64 divided by 4, which gives me 16. But don't forget, I still have the 6. So that's 96 root 3. That is the area of the base. The height of the prism, remember, prisms go base to base. So hexagon to hexagon is 5. So volume is the area of the base times the height. Well, the area of the base is 96 root 3, and the height of the prism is 5. So when we do this, we're going to multiply the 96 times the 5. that's 400. Ooh. 480 root 3 is the answer. But my iPad crashed. There we go. Centimeters cubed. All right, so far we've done 3 examples. Let's do a couple where we have to draw our own picture. And we're not going to do all of these, so I'll probably do 2 more examples and let you guys get to work on your homework. Okay, so, oops, sorry about that. The volume of a right rectangular prism. All right, so right rectangular prism, it just means that it's not slanted. Okay, so they kind of have to say that. When you get to higher level math, the rectangular prisms could be slanted, but this one is not. All the angles involved are 90 degrees. So I highly recommend you draw a picture. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. It doesn't matter which one's the base. I'll make the front of this the base. So I like to kind of shade. I like to shade what the base is so that I just like know what I'm working with. There it is. Okay, so, it gives me the volume is 385 cubic meters. If the sides of the base are 5 and 7, what is the height? So this is actually a working backwards problem. I'm glad we're doing this one. The sides of the base are 5 and 7. It does not matter which is which. Let's say this is 5 and this is 7. We're looking for the height of the prism. And I know the volume is 385. So volume is the area of the base times the height. Okay, well, I know the volume is 385, so I'm going to plug that in for V. The area of the base, if you look at how I wrote this out, the area of the base is just going to be 5 times 7, which is 35. And I'm solving for H. So to get H by itself, I'm just going to divide that over to the other side. So we have 385 divided by 35, and that is 11. And it's got to be meters. So that's a working backwards problem. Okay, I'm going to skip to number 6. This one is just talking about a cylinder, so I want to make sure that we're good with this. This says, find the volume of a cylinder with a diameter of 23 and a height of 16. So let's draw a cylinder. A cylinder kind of starts with like an ellipse type shape or an oval. I'm going to duplicate this. Let's do that. Okay. There we go. All right, it gives me the diameter, which goes straight across. The diameter is 23. The height is 16. Well, remember, volume is area of the base times the height, but on a circle or a cylinder, we have a circle base, pi r squared times height. Be careful, they didn't give me the radius, they gave me the diameter. So I have to take the diameter and divide it by 2 to get the radius. This does not come out nice, and that's okay. 23 divided by 2 is 11.5. So we are going to do pi times the radius, 11.5 squared, times the height, which is 16. And that is going to give me the volume. Okay. So let's put this part, all the ones that don't have a pi, in the calculator. So 11.5 and then squared, and then times 16. Comes out nice. So it's 2,116 with a pi. And we're talking about inches, so inches cubed. The other two problems, again, are just kind of drawing and figuring out on your own, but I think this is enough information for you guys to try the homework. So looking at our homework assignment, it's going to be worksheet 6. So you can switch over to working on worksheet 6. Sorry about all this scrolling. Here's what it is, okay? So I believe you guys can do this, but I will say that we did not get to composite figures, so you do not need to do 8 or 9. So why don't you just do your best to try numbers 1 through 7. On worksheet 6. And if you didn't watch this video, then you won't know what the homework really was. So I'll be able to know. All right, good luck. You guys got this. And thank you for listening.